Hi, in this video we will see about editing attribute table. Let me open this file South India Basin. So this is a vector data file or vector data model consisting 5 river basins. Let's see its attribute table. So this is the attribute table, and which includes the 5 rows representing 5 polygons or 5 features. And let's see how to edit it. Before editing, we need to turn on the editing mode of the vector data file or shapefile. I can do this over here. So this is option called toggle editing. I can turn this on. Now you can see the several icons are now more visible or activated, so it means it is in editing mode. In general, the shape files is by default in non-editing mode, just to avoid any changes which can knowingly or unknowingly happens uh, because of by clicking here and there. So now this editing mode is on. I can, by clicking on the same icon, I can again turn off the editing mode. Okay. There is also another way of doing it. For example, if I select a layer over here, I can turn on the editing by clicking over here, toggle editing. So once I do it, so editing mode is on. So either I can edit this feature, it means geometry, or I can edit the attribute table. That's the information consist over here in a tabular format. So you can see over here this editing mode is on. So let me do first thing. I want to, there are certain unnecessary rows which I want to delete first. Let me delete it. So how can I delete the rows? So there are, here are several options. You can go through it one by one. So let's, over here it's a delete field option. I can click over here, so window opens and it displays all the columns which are present in this attribute table. Now I know I don't want these columns, so I am removing them and I will say okay. Okay, so these columns are now gone. Now let's see how can I add a column. For example, from a secondary data I know the information about the what is the population which is residing in each basin, and I want to add a population data in this attribute table. So how can I add it? Let's see. So before adding the column over here, uh, before adding a population data over here, I need to create a column and I need to also specify the what is the data type. Let's see how to do it. So here is the option called new field. I will click over here. Now it says the what is the name of the field. I can say population. Now it says about the comments. What is the comment? So comment is only for us. So it will not appear in the table. It is just for our purpose, just to know what kind of data is present or stored in a given column. Then it asks for the what's the data type. So data can be of a different format. For example, it can be whole number, it can be whole number with 64 bits, it can be a decimal number, it can be text, it can be date, it can be date and time. I know my population will be always a whole number, so I will select a whole number. Then it asks what is the length of the variable. So here variable is a population. So length of the variable, it means how many digits it should allocate to store the value. So let's say I will keep as a 10. So maximum width of the number which is present in a population table or population column, or the which I want to enter in a population column, it can have maximum width of the 10 digits. Okay, if it is a text, then it will be like a 10 alphabet. Then I will click OK. So now the table has created. Now I can enter the value. For example, in Krishna basin, for example, there is let us assume for being a random value. Okay, this is the population in Krishna basin, I can enter it. This is the population in Godavari basin. Similarly, I can edit the put the values which I gathered from the secondary data. I am just showing you how to enter an additional column uh, in a given attribute table. Now, after entering a population, let's say I want to calculate what is the area of the basin, which is very much essential for the planning purposes. So let's see how can I do it. So I can do it by two ways. Let's see the first way. So here is the option called open field calculator. Okay, I will click over here because I want to calculate the area, so I will use the open field calculator. uh, and here the default option is a create a new field, because here I want to do two things. I want to create an additional column with a name as an area, and I have to also define a data type. Then at a second stage I want to calculate the area of the each polygon, and both of these operations can be performed over here in a single window. So I will say create a new field. I can enter output field name. I will say it's area. If I do not want to put it, then I can also create a virtual field. So it will just create it virtually, but will when you turn off this switch off this file or turn off this file, it will not will be stored in attribute table. But let's not use it right now. Let's create it appropriately. And what is the whole number? So what is the area? So area not necessarily always a whole number. Area is a real number, so it will have the data in decimal format. So I will select decimal number. So what is its length? I'll say I want to select, let us say, length as a 15 digits. And what is the precision? So the precision is the number of digits after a decimal point. So I will select precision as a 2. You can select whatever value you want. So this is how I am defining the new field. Is field name and the type of the data and the width of the data or length of the data. Then I will see how can I calculate the area. For calculating the area, you need to go into something called geometry, and once you go over there you will find several options. So I will click area, which is looking like, so there are two areas, one with the symbol of a dollar. I will select that. Yeah, okay. Then I will double click, so it will appear over here. So it means it will calculate the area of the polygon, and then I will click OK. Now the sum value is appeared over here. Now the question is, what is the unit of this value? So is it in square kilometer, it is in square meter, it is a square centimeter or square millimeter? So how can I find the unit? For that you need to check the metadata of the file. So let's see the metadata of this file, South India Basin. I will right click, I will see the properties. Yeah, and the metadata is over here in information. So now I can see the CRS. Now if you see, the CRS is EPSG 32643, UTM zone 43N, and so it is a projected CRS. So it means the map or layer is in two-dimensional form. Remember, if you want to calculate the area or length, it is always the layer should be in a projected form, or the coordinate reference system of a layer should be in a projected form. It should be on a paper map, it should be in two-dimensional, then only you can calculate the area. Otherwise, if it is a geographic coordinate reference system, then the surface will be the curve, and in that case you won't be able to calculate the area. So before calculation of area length, you have to ensure that all your vector data models are converted into the having the CRS which is a projected one. So here is a projected CRS, and if you see the unit is a meter. So in this coordinate reference system, if you calculate the area or if length, everything will be in meters. Okay, so I will just close this down. So let's go back to the attribute table. So whatever area you have seen over here, this area is in square meter because the unit is in meter. So uh, I can also convert this into square kilometer, because in general the convention is the area of a basin is represented or denoted as in a square kilometer format, because the numbers are really huge. So I can convert into square kilometers. How can I do that? So I need to create one more column over here where I can show the area in square kilometer format. So let's do it first. So and so also I need to apply a formula over here to convert this area into square kilometer. I know that I need to divide by 10 raised to 6, because 1 meter is 1000, 1 kilometer is 1000 meter, and here I am talking about the square kilometer, so I have to divide it by the 10 raised to 6, that's a 6 zeros over 10. So let's do it. So again I will say I will go to the open field calculator. I will again create a new field. Here I am, this time I will create a field area underscore kilometer, because I want to show the number in square kilometer. Again I will say it's a real number, and I will put this width as a 10, because now the 10 is sufficient, because now it's in square kilometer. I will say the precision will be 2. Okay, now what I can see, now for calculating the area over here I have to divide this figure by 10 raised to 6. So what I will do, I will put formula over here. Before that I will go in a section called fields and values. Here I can see all the fields which are present in the attribute table. So I can click here area. Okay, and then I can say area divided by 10 raised to 6, or I can also write 60 over 1 or 10 raised to 6, whichever format you want. So so if you click OK, you will get all the values in square kilometer. Let's do it. Okay, so these all are values right now in square kilometer. So if I looked into it, so it's around 262,000 square kilometer, that is the area of Krishna river basin. And if you see in case of Godavari, it's around 309,000 square kilometer. So this is how I can convert this area into square kilometer. Let's see if I want to identify the perimeter of the each of the polygon or each of the river basin. I want to know what is the perimeter of the basin. How can I do that? So either I can do it by opening the field calculator, where I can create a new field and define a formula and calculate the value, or what I can do, I will create a field by using this option new field, and here I will say it's perimeter. Perimeter will be again a real number, so there will be decimal number, and length, for example, let's put length as 15, and precision let me keep it as a 10 2. Okay, now whatever perimeter I will calculate using formula, remember that value will be always in meter, because by default the length unit is a meter for this given CRS. So let's do it by using again a field calculator. So now I have defined a variable, I have defined data type in a variable. Now I have to only apply the formula. So how can I do it? Again I will open the field calculator. Here now instead of create a new field, I will say upgrade the existing field. So it will turn off the space where I can define the new column and the data type, because I am updating the existing field. I can select the existing field as a perimeter, because that is the field which I want to update over here. Now how can I calculate the perimeter? Again, I will go to the geometry, and there is an option called perimeter over here. Yeah, dollar perimeter. Okay, I will double click on it, and then I will click OK. So this is a perimeter is calculated over here. I can stretch this so that I can view all these numbers. So this is the perimeter in meter. I can again convert this perimeter into kilometer by doing the performing the same operation again. Either I can use the field operator, field calculator. Then I will define create a new field where I can say the perimeter in kilometer, or the since the you cannot give the column name which is too big, so I will just give a short name, perimeter in kilometer. So I will say the decimal number real, then the output field, and this is the precision I have set. I will say whatever the value is there in the fields and values in the perimeter section, I have to divide it by 1000, because that's the conversion factor between meter and kilometer. That's it. So okay, over here, so this is the perimeter of the river basin. For example, in case of the Krishna river basin, the perimeter is around 4468 kilometer. In case of Godavari, it's 5424 square kilometer, kilometer, not in square kilometer but in kilometer. So okay, this is how we have learned how to edit the attribute table. So similarly, you can add number of columns you want. You can put the data manually, you can calculate the data by using the formulas and so on. But remember, before closing this window, just ensure that you are toggling this editing mode. So if I again click over here, it will ask me whether I want to save the changes. I want to save all these changes, so I will say yes, save. If you do not want to save the changes, you can just discard and come out of this. So now this shape file or the vector data model is in non-editing mode, and this has now got freeze. So just now in this video we have learned how to edit the attribute table, how to create a new columns, how to delete the existing columns, and how to calculate the area, perimeter, or perform the operations using the field calculator. Here also you can delete the features. For example, if I want to delete this feature, I can just click over here, and if I turn this editing mode on, I can just delete this selected feature over here. So once I delete it, it will be gone. So there is no more Kaveri basin, so I can just discard it. Okay, so now it's back. Okay, so we'll stop over here.